lane, but the leaders have to stay even with him, no charging. As the green flag is thrown, we're racing. All cars making it safely through the first turn, threading the needle as they go. Jones and Roberts, that's the number 1 and number 2. Randall Roberts now diving down, taking an inside line, coming out of turn 4 now, keeping Jones to the outside. Both cars dead even as they're down this front straightaway. Two laps into it, car number 69, Steve Jones on the outside of Randall Roberts. Only a quarter panel lead on him, just a nose of his car leading right now. But Randall Roberts now on the inside, dropping back ever so slightly. Meanwhile, number 15 of Kevin Barnhill, he's holding back on third right there, trailing right behind Roberts, taking that inside line a little bit, as now all three cars, 1, 2, 3, one car length separating them. Meanwhile, Jonathan Lewis, car number 08, leading in third right there, or fourth right there, over Dal Wright, car number 31.
He's almost having to battle for that position, though.
Yes, sir, it's Dal Wright.
Scarpelli right behind them. Got good racing going on in the front of the pack, middle of the pack also. As your leaders out of turn 4, they're going to cross over the stripe this time.
Almost 3 wide coming out of turn 4 as Dal Wright put on the gas right there and got up ahead of Sam Scarpelli and Jonathan Lewis. Lewis now dropping back behind Scarpelli as Dal Wright now leading on 4th position as the top 3 leaders have pulled away from the pack.
Steve, if he could pull this off.
4 laps, 5 laps complete now. Meanwhile, Randall Roberts right on the back bumper of Steve Jones. And Jones leading right now, but Randall Roberts is now diving down to the inside on turn 2, trying to keep a good draft on him, but he's getting an opportunity to close the door if he can get around him on turn 3. Turn 4, looks like we might have ourselves a side-by-side battle down the front straightaways. Randall Roberts almost able to do it, but Jones is able to keep that door closed, still leading after another lap.
That battle does not let up a bit. Jones, a veteran from many years ago. Roberts, a veteran that really hadn't gone anywhere, just moved up in the ranks. It says 10 years. That's amazing. Almost 10 years. If Steve Jones can hold on, this will be an amazing feat, but he's got Randall Roberts and then Kevin Barnhill playing. So cool. The defending champion in the series, as well as the last week's winner, running right back in a steady third, kind of keeping an eye on those two right ahead of him. Dal Wright in 4th place, playing it very, very safe, and Sam Scarpelli right behind him. Leader still Steve Jones. They file single file as they come across the stripe. Distance separating 1st, 2nd, and 3rd place. A little bit of breathing room back to 4th, and then a little bit more on back to 5th for Scarpelli. Roberts, he's just kind of laying low. You think he's looking for the right time. Only 10 laps into the race. Be 11 this time by 14 remaining, so he's got a while to be able to make the move that he wants to make. Do you want to be in first? Do you want to be the leader? Do you want to be the one to slingshot past? Do you want to be like Kevin Barnhill, be there and be safe in case something happens to the lead 2 cars?
I do believe you're right, Bobby. There is some strategy being done right here. Maybe Randall Roberts has seen the opportunity that if he just keeps right on, keeps the pressure tight, keeps the pace going, he might be able to capitalize on a mistake or two, or maybe a tire wearing down on Jones later on in the race. Meanwhile, Kevin Barnhill, all he's got to do is just hang on to things. Now, it looks like he's backed off just a little bit there, Bobby, as he's backed out now about 4 car lengths. Something has happened to Kevin Barnhill as he's now fallen back off the pace ever so slightly.
Still on, though, for the lead. Look at that.
A little bit of loose on Randall Roberts out of 4 there.
Jones, though, keeps pushing up a little bit in 4, and I see smoke coming off the right rear of his car.
Yes, sir.
Roberts taking full advantage, moving now to the inside. He's right now to the front fender of Jones on the inside. This is the race for the lead.
Right now, Randall Roberts down on the inside. Steve Jones on the outside, coming out of turn 4. This is Roberts' second attempt to try to come up and take over the lead, but looks like Jones has got just enough to be able to squeeze out to be able to keep him at arm's length. Meanwhile, both cars side by side coming out of turn 2, now on the back straightaway. It's a drag race down to the third turn. Who's it going to be? Looks like Randall Roberts on the inside just by inches. Stephen Jones on the outside. Meanwhile, Kevin Barnhill slipping down to the inside, right back behind Randall Roberts. Might be able to give him a little bit of push. Again, Stephen Jones just by inches on Randall Roberts as they cross the stripe.
I think smoke coming off the back of Jones's car and maybe the right front of Roberts' car. Robert now takes the lead down the back straightaway in a safe spot. 16 be 17 laps, 3 to go this time by.
Definitely.
Roberts in the lead. Race now for second. Kevin Barnhill trying to follow in Roberts' tire track.
It is something has happened with Stephen Jones. He's now fallen off the pace. Kevin Barnhill now right there. He's taking over second as Steve Jones slipping back behind Barnhill. Smoke is coming out from the back. Maybe there's a scrub tire in there or something has happened, but he's now fallen off the pace as Randall Roberts is now widening his lead over Kevin Barnhill by 2 car lengths.
2 laps remaining. Be 2 laps this time by. As your leaders cross the stripe, white flag next time by.
Now we're dealing with a situation, Bobby, I always like to see when the leaders are having to deal with lap traffic. Anything can happen when you're dealing with lap cars and getting into
most
position.
Of the time, now at Myrtle Beach, Bob, the lap cars do move out of the way. Not all the time, but most of the time. This time they did see the leaders. They did move over. It's Randall Roberts, Kevin Barnhill running first and second on the white flag lap. White flag, race fans. No, excuse me. 25. Got everybody excited.
Got excited, didn't you, Bobby?
Sorry, buddy. I couldn't hardly stand it.
This race is flying by. Very clean race.
Never over until it's over. We know that.
Now we're into strategies. They're coming up to the 20 lap mark. 5 laps are going to be remaining. Now this is going to see what's going to happen with Kevin Barnhill, car number 15. He's been staying in third, keeping up with the leaders throughout this entire race. Now he's in second, right back behind the leader. And Randall Roberts has got a rearview mirror full of car number 15. What will happen? It is going to be exciting as car number 15, Kevin Barnhill, has the opportunity to be able to take the lead away from Randall Roberts. It's just a matter of who wants it the most. Meanwhile, it looks like it's happening as Kevin Barnhill, car number 15, now down on the inside. Randall Roberts, 13 on the outside. On the second turn, now on the back straightaway.
Well, race fans, how about this racing? Side by side once again for the lead.
Randall Roberts just by a wheel well. Meanwhile, Kevin Barnhill is now passing Randall Roberts on turn number 2.
Now, the air off front of that car, too. Didn't you see that?
Yeah, absolutely. Took the air right away from him. Now they got to deal with some lap traffic with Kevin Barnhill leading over Randall Roberts. Roberts now right on the back bumper of Kevin Barnhill, coming up here on lap 23 right now as they're crossing the stripe. Kevin Barnhill now accelerating a little bit more, getting about 3 or 4 car lengths ahead of Randall Roberts. Something has happened caused Randall Roberts to drop back as they're having to contend with car number 77, lap traffic.
This ought to be interesting. Barnhill last week's winner.
A good clean pass by car number 15, Kevin Barnhill, with Randall Roberts, as now coming up onto the white flag lap. He's got about 4 car lengths now. It looks like this might be a takeaway. It's going to be a sprint coming up on turn 2, now on the back straightaway. If Randall Roberts has enough horsepower to be able to take over, but it doesn't look like he's going to be able to regain it, as Kevin Barnhill looks like he's going to be repeating last week's action as he's coming around turn 4, coming down the home straightaway, waiting to take that checkered flag. Kevin Barnhill taking the win. Randall Roberts in second. Steve Jones, 69, in third, with Dal Wright. Alrighty, as Kevin Barnhill is getting out there with the congratulations of his crew, Bobby Summers is down there. Let's see if he can be able to get Kevin over there, and we'll get an interview with him.
All right, Kevin, I guess the easiest part is if you can win one of these things standing here in victory lane. That were no easy race, was it, brother? They make it so hard on you.
Yeah, they ran it hard all the way up to about lap 20, and we finally got everybody edged out where cars were falling off, and we were able to stay under there and keep our speed and make the pass and win the race.